Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a Temerian Tuesday, and I got a deck for you today. We are calling this Der-Ploy. This is kind of a joke. We're at the end of the season, so it's all spicy up in here. Basically, you know, I was inspired by Fuchsia Brief's Triple Vernon, or as I've taken to calling it, Weekend at Vernie's. But I think, because he just won't die. But Uncle Vernon here is in the deck with Sienna, so you can play him twice if you want to, or if you would prefer, you can go for a Falibor, you can go for a Dahlia, you know, you got options here. And those options are very much against what most people expect you to play when you are playing with a shield wall deck. I will also say this deck carries Visigato and Donamir, who I think are just unparalleled in terms of engine value and protection value. Plus, Donamir is just 7 straight up points. No questions asked. Check your bags at the door and shut up and sit down this season. But we've got Ballistas, Dunbanner, Siege Support, Redanian Archers, Drummers, Frigates. You know, we got all kinds of options that we can run here if we choose to. And then Siege Ladder is in here. I do think Siege Ladder has pretty good value. Why this guy has like dead eyes is beyond me. Please give this man pupils and irises. But can't demand too many things these days. So Siege Ladder's in here to put back Visigato, basically, or Donamir, depending on who gets moved off. So, with that, let's jump into some gameplay. Show you guys what's up. As always, please join me on Twitch if you want to see more games. If you want to see this deck played more than just the couple of times we're going to play in this video. But also, come share good thoughts on Discord. If you like this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you want to see future content. And if you hated it, please let me know that as well. I actually really do appreciate constructive criticism as well. I will say please make it constructive. Just leaving a dislike and not telling you why you didn't like the video won't help me make better videos in the future. We did get Sienna, which is great here, missing all of the rest of our cards, but we have enough to kind of do some fun business here. We'll put one of these ballistas back. We don't need both. And we don't really need this Siege Ladder yet. Since we have Amphibious Assault, it gives us the flexibility that we need. I love seeing both our Tridents here. Visigared pretty good. I'd prefer to see him in the last round, but we can make him work. But let's put this Ballista back, and now we got options. Okay, so again, we are missing all 3 of our great deploy cards, so we won't be using Sienna this round. Instead, we'll probably be targeting one of these Dunbanners on a stringer. But we'll get to that in time. I think first things first are to line up Carrack Frigate. I like this on ranged row. And since this is Skellige, we're going to go ahead and use this Crystal Skull right away. But I like this to ranged row so that way we can drop down our Siege Support to give it a boost, or our Redanian Archer. Tridems don't really care where they go, so we'll probably go for melee with them. And line those up with on a stringer as well. But here we can go ahead and use the Carrack Frigate, then drop down the Siege Support and give a boost to that Volunteer. That gives us yet another boosted soldier. And since he gives Zeal, we can line up Visigared for this round, and he works pretty well in this scenario. Visigato also pairs so well with Visigared. If you guys aren't familiar with that combination, one I really do suggest testing out. Seeing this Gedeneth, I think this is likely a Beasts deck. It's up to us how far or how deep we want to go here. I think our Stringer combo is so valuable that it is worth going for. And we can alternatively, instead of going for Dunbanner, we can actually just go for a Drummer. I think that might actually be the best option here, just to get crazy point value out in terms of engines, especially as we're playing against a scenario. Getting value is going to be really important. But I think here we're going to see just how great Northern Realms is this season. by allowing themselves so many points out of their bronzes. I mean, we did use Amphibious Assault here, so we do have to keep that in mind. But otherwise, our bronze is finding just so much value against our opponent. And this likely being a Fear the Beasts deck just doesn't run that much removal. So really and truly isn't a whole lot they can do to stop us. I do like this Foulbot Priest play on Crow Mother. But that Mardro, I'm not finding any great synergy value. Here we'll go ahead and get down on a Stringer. I do like to protect her with a shield. Even though our opponent isn't running much removal, I think it's worth making sure she sticks around, as she does represent so much value. Now, obviously, if Siegfried were to come down, it would threaten her, though she's at 7 points now, so Giga Scorpion Decoction is out of reach. Stunning Blow only does 6 damage, and that's only if they have armor. So I think our units all here are pretty safe. We can take our time, set up all the units we want to, and just count up how many boosted units we have right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will give Visigarde 6 bullets in his chamber, and we'll be adding a 7th one right here with Trident Infantry. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. And now we just get to tick off our damage pings, get our 3 boosts going every turn. This is really difficult for our opponent to keep up. I think we could feel comfortable here just going ahead and taking the pass, but if our opponent does want to keep going, I don't mind dropping down Visigarde this round at all, just to secure a long round 3. I think that'll play really well with our Sienna. The one thing you do need to worry about with Sienna and going for Vernon, make sure you've played out your Dun banners, otherwise they do play for limited value. Here Visigarde is just too much of a value proposition for me to ignore. We're going to go ahead and put him down, use our Carrack Frigate, give him Zeal, and go ahead and knock off this Skjall. And then we will leave the Crow Mother. That way he has to wait 1 round to get it back. But we can go ahead and ping down one of these crows, just so that an Axel 3 Eyes is missing 2 points of value there. We are up by 16 points, and then we go up by 3 every round and damage opponents twice. So I think we're in a pretty good spot to go ahead and take the pass this next round if our opponent decides to stick in it, which they don't. Probably smart choice. But we really didn't have to spend too many golds. Amphibious Assault, which we get back on a Stringer, and Visigarde. So I just think crazy, crazy value that Northern Realms has out of engines in bronzes. And you saw it working its magic right there. I will say here, Dun Banner, I'd like to get them out if that were possible, but we don't have a drummer here. We're missing a couple other units I'd really like to see, namely our deploy units. So this is a bit unfortunate. We're just going to take the pass here. And this is being recorded live on my Twitch stream, so welcome to everyone who's joined. My good friend Spook22 UK has just mentioned he should pass here a couple of rounds before the Skellige player decided to pass. I mean, I can't lie. I'm happy with the poor choices they made. Siege Ladder we can safely put back into our deck, both because we have Amphibious Assault and because I don't think our opponent's going to be playing anything nasty there. Siege Support doesn't have a whole lot of synergy here. I am worried about bricking with this Dun Banner, but we're going to put it back. And we got just really bad luck here, missing Falibor, Adalia, and Vernon. So we'll show you how this deck plays in the event that you get really nothing but a bunch of garbage. We can use Amphibious Assault to get out something with a deploy. So Ballista to play Ballista twice. Yeah, not the optimal play we were looking for. But you can't have everything you want in life. Now, Giga Scorpion Decoction, again, is something we are concerned about. Oneiromancy coming out, proving that this deck we are currently up against is not Devotion. So we do also have to be worried about a Heat Wave. That being the case, we're going to go ahead and put down Donimir. but not a whole lot we need to worry about given Visigato's ability to get shielded up here. I do love this Svalbard Priest on the Covenant of Steel. I think this is a phenomenal play. Highly recommend it. We're just going to go ahead and get him down, get him ready to rock and roll, whatever it is we decide to do. I do think Siana loses all value if we don't get down some kind of synergy here. So we'll go ahead and get her out before we play this Amphibious Assault, just to make sure we have options. Draco Turtle is phenomenal value. Highly recommend it. Here we're going to go ahead and get down this Karak Frigate. And we'll boost it 2 times just to make sure our opponent can't kill it off. And then we'll get a drummer down next to it. Then we can get out Dunbanner whenever we feel comfortable doing that. Short. It's a very nice play behind this defender. Artist makes for a great option here as well to just make sure that defender can't get removed. If we wanted, we could focus down a little bit more of these Redanian archers. They could give us some options. I think because we just want to get as much engine value as we can out of this frigate, we're going to go ahead and pull that. But as Spook has said in chat, it's possible our opponent is running Gremist, which could purify this Donamir. Could put then this Visigato within reach of a Giga Scorpion decoction, but they can't do that both in one round. So I'm fine just being here, being patient, waiting to see what exactly it is our opponent is going to use. I think we're going to be okay. I'm more concerned about points and getting maximum value out of our points this game. I do like this alchemy play to get out both Crow Mother and the Crow Messenger. I think that's an excellent play. And for those of you who may have missed that, you can always come to your tab, see match history. But this Strybog Runestone playing for excellent value, both as an alchemy card and as a duplicate of Crow Messenger, bringing out those other crows. Highly, highly valuable play. Here we're just going to go ahead and get our archers down. Just let them build up these ticks. Short is a fascinating play to make here with our opponent just being able to hide things behind that defender. I think here we're going to see Axel Two Eyes, so we're going to go ahead and get out our other Redanian archer and start going to work on these crows. And we're just continuing to build up these charges, continuing to build up value. That way we don't have to do anything until we are ready and ripe for harvest. Judah playing for 12 points as this Svalbard Priest is already out. So great value there. Here we're just going to go ahead and get down Siana, just so we have some flexibility. Unfortunately, though, we still don't have any great synergy for her. We're going to knock off one of these crows. Again, just to make sure Axel Three Eyes is losing a little bit of value there. But I think our opponent is going to run away with this game. I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about that. We will get the extra 1 damage that Siana is providing for us. I think we just had really, really bad luck with draws this game. Not a whole bunch we can do about that. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead. We'll use Siana. We play our Amphibious Assault. Again, the only one with the deploy ability is the Ballista. And it does get maximum value of boost, so we will go ahead and use that. So we hit this crow, and we can hit it twice, and that's where we are. Pretty unfortunate. Oh, and I totally forgot to play the frigate. So if we lose by 2 points, it's because I'm an idiot. So I think this leader ability is going to put this game well out of reach for us. Just plays for so many points on the Draco Turtle. Geralt Yurden being the card that we really are missing out on here. I don't know what it was our opponent had to trash. Dimeridium Bomb, which is kind of an interesting inclusion. You could use this instead of using Bomb Heaver, but at least Bomb Heaver plays for 4 points. So if you can fit him in, I'd recommend playing him. And here we're just hacking away points. Me describing things made us lose a little bit of value here. I don't think we're quite going to get there. And I think it is going to be by more than 2 points, so it wasn't a total failure on me before. Just want to make sure you get maximum value out of that. There you go. We lost by quite a few points. I think Falbor would have made this a little bit easier. We would have had quite a bit more reach. Now we could run Royal Decree, that's true, or Oneiromancy. The odds of this happening are pretty low, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Sometimes you get crap draws. It just is what it is. But if you wanted to, I think Oneiromancy would probably be the card I would suggest. That way you can get what you want twice. It would also give you grab on Amphibious Assault in the event that you missed Amphibious Assault. So that is one option, and I think I'd probably take out Falbor and downgrade Egmund if you wanted to do that. But there I think we went up against one of the best point value decks in the game right now, and didn't have a great way of dealing with that opponent. So I think the one change I probably would make, since we're not running Devotion here, is I'm actually going to sub out one of these cards. We're going to go ahead and take a Peller here. And I think we can probably sub out one of these archers. We probably don't need both. And the only other one I think I'd really strongly think about changing out here would be Dandelion. I think he would give us a little bit more upside in terms of point value. We'll downgrade our Egmund. And we'll downgrade this other archer, since we don't really need those damage pings. If you wanted to run Hengaith, which I had thought about doing to get a triple roach, you do need more damage pings, but with ballistas, we can set up for a really valuable Falbor with that. Especially now in this, where this season has a lot of units moving around. Here we'll go for a Temple Guard, as they give us some boost, or you could go for Carrot Cutthroat, because you do get that bleed. So actually we'll go for Carrot Cutthroat, since he gives us formation. So let's go ahead and make this change, and we'll go ahead and jump in one more time, one more game, and see if this gets a little bit better draws for us. Like I said, we did get Amphibious Assault, so we can't complain about that. But the other changes were a little bit tough. Without having that Purify, we really are going to run aground against some of these really good competitive point slam decks. All right, here we're up against what I'm guessing is going to be a Fireswarm deck. Again, one of my favorites of the season. If you haven't played them, I really recommend it. Again, getting Sienna, but this time we do get Falbor, so we can clear off a bunch of these Fireswarm annoyances, as we may see them on the game. And we get a Dahlia here, so this is really quite good. A Dahlia with Sienna allows you to double play a frigate, so that's definitely something we want to keep in mind. They might be running poisons, so we'll keep that. Siege Ladder not really necessary against this, most of these decks that I've seen. They do have Payroll Specialist and Hammond they can run for row movement, but most people avoid those. Especially in a Firesworn deck, you aren't necessarily running as many of those type of crimes, so it's not something we really need to worry too much about. Fallen Knights have Veil, so they can avoid some of this bleed here. That being the case, we're going to go ahead and take a Dahlia, and we'll use her. I think we're going to be setting up for Falbor in a later round, just to remove some of the Firesworn nonsense we're going to see out on the board. A Dahlia here, just going to play for good value in terms of getting us out more frigates. And we could have used, actually, we actually could have used Siege Ladder. If you want, you can spawn off two of these guys, use Carrack frigates together to maximize some of that value. But we're not going to do that here, just purely because we missed Amphibious Assault, so that's why I was continuing to dig. Here now, I think we do need to set up a soldier to the left of Carrack frigate. Notably, Falbor is a soldier, but we don't need to use him. We have this, we have the Carrot Cutthroat here. But a double Falbor onto these Firesworn Zealots would clear off a bunch of units. And you can actually use, you can go 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 2, 1 again to clear off the ones. And again, this is just like set up really perfectly to get you exactly what you want. But this really doesn't look to me like a round that we can compete a lot in. So I think we're going to just be taking it slow and seeing how hard our opponent wants to continue to put up points. A little unnecessarily, in my opinion. We probably don't need to worry about the ballistas setting up things just right in future rounds, just because this is a Fireswarm deck. So we'll go ahead and ping that. We're kind of missing soldiers, but Dun Banner are soldiers. We just don't have a great way of boosting them other than by using leader ability. Which isn't the worst option, but it's also not the best either. But here I think just seeing our opponent putting up this many points, we kind of have to count out to see if we can actually get there in 3 plays. And I don't know that there's anything I want to spend, although Falborn and Siana could easily get us there. I don't know that I want to keep playing cards to get there. So, all this being the case, I think I'd like the opponent to have to put out one more card that he doesn't want to put out. So we'll go ahead and play down this Dun Banner and use a leader charge on him. Just to get out the other one. I think the thinning here is going to be something that's worthwhile. And we'll clear off one of these Firesworn Zealots. It's only an 11-point delta here, so not out of reason for us to be able to close that. Falbor here would do 2, 2, and then 1 damage. So he would actually play for 12 points on his own. You do get a little bit of risk and early game play of excommunication, just because you still have quite a thick deck. I think we might see Diazirie. No, we see Smuggle come down. Not a ton of points there, but our opponent does put up a lot of coins, which does get a lot of synergy there with that Fallen Knight. Tough choices, tough choices. I think here, I really like what we have in our hand. Let's go ahead. I don't think we're going to see any poisons, so let's go ahead and play this Peller down. I wouldn't even mind losing on evens at this point. I think we have 2 good rounds of cards. One interesting note, Tavern Brawl is usually the best removal that this deck runs, but it can't target Visigodo as long as Visigodo is behind Donimir. So as long as Donimir's up, you're good to go. Diazirie coming down for really good value for our opponent. Having seen that, I feel confident that they're not going to push too hard in round 2. We saw a lot of gold cards come down. Diazirie, Excommunication, Ulrich, Helvide, Furco, and really all we played was Queen of Dahlia. So I feel pretty happy with where we ended up this round in terms of bleeding out our opponent's good cards. But welcome to anyone, again, filming this live on Twitch. This is our second of 2 games. As soon as I'm done filming this video, we're taking whatever requests people may have for further plays and videos. Just trying to finish out this season with some interesting decks that have a little bit of spiciness to them, but that are still competitive. I think how we have fixed this deck up makes it really strong. I think we have, if our opponent plays down something, we have a core of cards in Donimir and Visigodo and Tridum with Visigard that would be able to push very hard. That said, I'm going to put Tridum back, searching for Amphibious Assault, still not finding it, getting Siege Ladder back again, and still missing Uncle Vernon. Seeing this Fallen Knight come out here and using these charges indicates to me that our opponent may want to play out our good friend our good friend Whoreson. That being the case, even though we're going to be missing this value with Sienna, we're just going to pray we get Uncle Vernon. If we don't, we might just put her back. But Falibor really needing to come out to clear off 2 of these zealots. That way Whoreson has to transform something else. Also keeps us up in card count. We are down by a point, so we might see our opponent pass here just to go even in cards. If that's the case, we'll just go ahead and drop down Siege Ladder. But I think this is the best way to prevent Whoreson from wrecking us. That is what it is. But again, Falibor is a soldier here, so we can go ahead. I'll use this Carrack Frigate. This might force out our opponent to play down something like Bloody Good Fun to try to get removal. That would be a waste of several coins if that were the case. So it'd be a fine outcome for me. Hi. My son is awake. He's coming to visit us all. Twitch streams are always right. If you ever want to just hear a little kid express his glee in life, that's this is a good time to come do it. All right. This being the case, I think we're gonna go ahead here with Donamir. I don't know. Well, actually, Visigodo plays actually really well in this scenario. The reason for that is we can just go ahead and use this shield, and Visigodo is up and good to go. We'll boost up our frigate by 1. Again, still a good way of draining out our opponent's coffers. Hi, how are you doing? Are you doing so good? You come to visit? Please don't close that. Come here. Ah! Alright, he got out Visigodo. That seems to be something he's pleased with. I think here we're just going to go ahead and use Siege Ladder for 6 points. So we get out 2 with this frigate, and then we can go ahead and use Siege Ladder here to boost a unit. We'll just go ahead and swing back Falibor. That's fine. And we get the extra charge. So it was a good, this was a pretty successful bleed from our opponent. I think they got to see the cards that they wanted to see. Here we're just playing for Uncle Vernon. If he can show up, I think we're going to see some amazing value. If we miss him, life sucks, but we don't miss him. One thing to note about Vernon Roach, it's play the top 2 cards. So if one of those cards ends up being Amphibious Assault, we will be in a juicy position. Here, though, I really like what I'm seeing in terms of our cards. So I think we're going to go ahead and just call this good. We'll finish redrawing. Well, actually, let's take back Drummer and Trident we'll put back. Yeah, we end up with the worst of all scenarios. All right, if you watched the previous game, I still like this play. I think it does work really well. Bloodied Good Fun does have good reach here. I think I'm going to go ahead and protect this Carrack Frigate. We can get down Donamir next, and that should cement things and give us some protection that way. One thing to note with Sienna, obnoxiously giving her Zeal does no good because she will repeat the deployability of the next unit you play during this turn. So you can't really use siege support to get that value. Instead, you have to play it a little bit more carefully. Jacques, I think we're seeing here just because he generates point value in terms of the coins. But my son here is feeling really excited, sitting on my lap, just out of reach. You can see his hair. Given consent restrictions, not able to put him up on the video. But again, for those of you just joining on Twitch, that we are recording a Northern Realms video for tomorrow. As soon as this game is done, we'll be up, ready, and willing to accept any suggestions for future plays. Just let us know what you want to see. The one thing we do miss here is Dandelion plays best with Corvo. We had added him to this deck to kind of work against big engines, a lot like this Fireswarm deck. So kind of missing out in terms of value that way. But he still plays for 6 points, so he's not a total schlub. Here we're going to go ahead and get down Sienna. Our opponent shouldn't have any way of getting to her, so we're fine not having a shield to play onto her. It is a little anxiety-inducing, it's true, but I think we're going to be okay. Now, Siege Support will only play for 5 to range throw. And now we just have to pray that one of our top cards is something good. We're going to go ahead and use Sienna here. I think Vernon at this point to melee row to just prevent double play. And we get 4 cards out. I think we'll go for the Trident Infantry here, and you'll see why we're getting down Anna. We get down this Trident Infantry to her right. We'll get down the Drummer, and then this other Trident Infantry we're just going to play over here. But now we get that perfect boost going. We do miss the perpetual boost on the Trident, but given everything that's going on, I think this is still the optimal play, especially with Visigerd in tow. So this way we have 5 boosted units, and we'll use siege support to get that to 6. So I think Dandelion will be our last play. Just in terms of cadence, we want to make sure we're removing as many of our opponent's plays. Wish we would have gotten him down in time to prevent this Procession of Penance play, but we are where we are. Not a big deal. We'll put this on Donomir just to juice him up a little bit. But our front engine's working really, really well for us. We're seeing crazy good engine value here. Horsun coming down, transforming, I think, this Vernon because of the Fuchsia Briefs deck in what I'm calling Weekend at Bernie's. I think we're going to use Visigerd here. We'll knock off one of these lackeys, and then we will do some more damage to some of these Fireswarm units if we can knock one off. Looks like we can, so we'll take off that lackey and then kill down this Zealot, just so the Diazirier finds minimal value. Diazirier is going to be enough to knock off this boost on Strenger, but she'll get it back now with this Temerian Drummer. So I think our opponent a little bit slow to make that choice. I think they were trying to set up this cut-up lackey. I think this is a really great value. Tavern Brawl finding some great value in melee row. Here, we're pretty much done, though, so we'll just drop down this Dandelion for 6 points. Let Anna and Drummer go to work, and pray that that's enough value to get the win. Thank you guys for understanding my son's presence here. There we go. Let's say hi. It does boost up all those units and does 1 damage back to us, but it's just not quite enough. So here we are seeing that Vernon played with Sienna for so much value, getting us that amphibious assault. Bye. I wish we would have had the amphibious assault to grab the Anna. That would have given us the best, most optimal play to get out those cards. But can you imagine, again, seeing that we basically played Drummer, 2 Tridents, and Anna, one of the best 4-card engine combos in the game. And we played those all in 1 turn. So it is a pretty fun deck to play. You could add in Hengate Sword. Personally, I think you lose a little bit of point value for those other rounds. But hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, we will see you tomorrow for Wild Hunt Wednesday. And then hopefully Thursday we'll have update and new content from the new season. But until then, good luck. Get out there and keep on Gwenting.